Alright? What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? It's your girl, Messy Jessie, Power 1051, y'all. Now, there's a lot of controversy going on. How many of y'all remember when Chris Brown had the Breezy Bowl concert? Y'all remember that? And remember on that tour, it was a girl, brown-skinned, darker-skinned woman who claimed Chris Brown was a colorist because he was only letting light-skinned girls in his section and he wouldn't let the darker-skinned girls in or something like that. Now, me as a big, Chris Brown fan and also a dark-skinned black woman, I was kind of disappointed in him and, some of these stories, but, the word I got from certain people who was there, they saying it's not true. Now, I have someone on the line who's called in many times. He's a friend of the show. You know what I mean? Y'all all know him. He was there that night, before he got locked up. And he's going to talk about what happened that night. So we're going to, let him, speak on what happened and what the deal is, you know what I mean? Tony, what's good?
Yeah, what's good? Yo, what's up, Jessie? What's poppin'? What's going on with you?
It's all good, you know what I mean? You good to, hear from you, you know what I mean? I see you, holding your head, you know what I mean? Like I told Unique, you know what I mean? Congratulations on, the bundle of joy that's on its way, you know what I mean?
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Nah, man, so I love.
Alright, Tony, so, let us know what happened, with that incident, at the Breezy Bowl where, the brown-skinned girl claimed that Chris Brown ain't want none of the dark-skinned girls in the section. He only wanted light-skinned girls in, tell us what happened that night, because you said you was there.
Yeah, absolutely was there. Nah, I was at the Breezy Bowl that night. I was there with my girl at the time, Dizzy. R.I.P. to Dizzy. Yeah, I was there, because I know Chris Brown, through mutual friends, on some street shit. Breezy always been a good dude. Always showed me love, always, been a real, genuine nigga, man. And, not only I had floor seats at the Breezy Bowl, but, I knew somebody that knew somebody that knew Chris, and then, I've met Chris, before that, off his last tour, from, through people from Europe, so me and Breezy kind of know each other by face, so, yeah, he invited me and Dizzy, who was also a brown-skinned woman, out that night to the after party, and, I got in, of course, my girl Dizzy got in, who was brown-skinned, and what happened was, Breezy had so many girls with him and so many people already in his section, it wasn't letting nobody else in. It didn't matter if you was light-skinned, didn't matter if you was brown-skinned, dark-skinned, it was just overcrowded in his section. That's what really happened. It wasn't because, girls was brown-skinned. That's stupid. Because Dizzy, is brown-skinned, R.I.P. again. She was with me, she was there. It's just that, his section was big, so, how people are, they clout chase, they want on the internet, and they want to put, certain narratives out there on my nigga, which I think is real whack, son.
Okay, so you saying basically the reason, the girls weren't let in is because the section was already overcrowded. It had a lot of people in there, and he already had a lot of people with him. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, Breezy showed up with mad shits, he had mad shits already with him. Plus, the entourage was already there, and his staff, and, the few people that could fit in there. So it was already not enough room in his section, So it wasn't about being dark-skinned, brown-skinned. That's bullshit. If that's the case, why the girl ain't talk about not only Dizzy being in there, because she's like brown-skinned, but, all the girls that came in and took pictures and got their autographs signed, she ain't tell nothing about that. She just told about her not being able to get in because it was overcrowded. It wasn't because she was brown-skinned or dark-skinned, And what kills me, what kills me, Jessie, is that women would sit online all day long and disrespect, you know what I mean? Light-skinned black men that look like Chris Brown, that look like me, but then want to turn around and cry colorism. You know, soon as, you know, allegedly they get turned away from VIP, but yet that whole summer memo home, Jessie, that whole summer these women was dancing to Glorilla, talking about how they loved them, a trapping ass dark-skinned nigga and all this shit. Now, you know, they want to turn around and cry colorism. You know, this shit is a fucking joke, you know?
Yeah, I have to agree. You know, I mean, you know, me being a dark-skinned woman, I have to agree that black women tend to disrespect light-skinned black men and say little things that that is disrespectful. And then black women do want to cry colorism when the tables are turned. I have to agree with that. You know what I mean? But I'm just glad that you called in and straightened that up, about, this colorism incident that was going around. And, yeah, you mentioned Dizzy. Yeah, and I heard the story about Dizzy, sad story. R.I.P. to that, to that sister. Can you tell us, who Dizzy was and what she was about?
Oh, man. Dizzy was a cool, down-to-earth, chick, man. She was, ride-or-die bitch, man. Had a lot of love for her, man. The little time that I had with her, man, and it felt like a lifetime because she was so real and down to earth, and, she, her passing definitely affected me, and I think about all the time, from time to time, she crosses my mind, and, if you heard the story, I know that, we got caught up in some shit with the cartel, and, she wound up passing, because the cartel put a hit out on all of us that was involved in a certain incident and all. Yeah, man, Dizzy was real special, she, was a good basketball player. She played against Angel Reese, played against Caitlin Clark, and a lot of the other, women that made it in WNBA. She got kicked out of college, for smoking and selling weed, and got caught up in the streets, and then, started running with me, and, fortunately she passed, and that's like a guilt, that I have to this day, and what's crazy, she was gonna go back, she finished, like, all her classes online, she graduated college, and she was gonna try to make another run for the WNBA, and unfortunately she passed, but, Dizzy was a real one, man. Dizzy was a real one, man. R.I.P. to my baby girl, Dizzy, man. I love her, man. Miss her.
Damn, that's what's up. Yeah, R.I.P. Dizzy. So yeah, let us know what else is going on with you, Tony. Like, what's been popping with you, other than that, what else is going on with you?
Well, season 5, is here. The Duffle Bag Tony Story season 5, new episodes drop every Friday, and, just more heat, more stories about my life, what I've been through, and, that's just basically it, man. I just want everybody to tune in every Friday, the Duffle Bag Tony Story. We now on season 5, man. So we've been rocking and rolling, and we're gonna just continue to keep it moving, keep it pushing.
So, any word on your appeal? Any word on your appeal or release date?
Yeah, it's looking good, I don't want to speak on it, I don't want to jinx it, but it's looking good, So, I'm staying out of trouble, keeping my nose clean. And, I'm pushing to get up out of here, boy. I just want to thank everybody that's pushing to get me out of here, My nigga 50 Cent, my nigga Nas, Jay the Kiss, Even Hove, reached out, so it's looking good, man, it's looking good. I'm optimistic, If that's how they say it, I don't even know how you say the word, but I'm feeling hopeful,
No doubt, man. No doubt. I'm praying for you, man. I got you in my prayers, Tony. Definitely want to see you home, man. So give your shout outs, man, and, we're going to get up out of here.
Yeah, for sure. I just want to give a shout out, to everybody that's, been writing me letters and leaving comments and showing love and, subscribing to the channel, Yeah, man, the Duffle Bag Tony story, you know what I mean? Every Friday, make sure y'all tune in. Shout out to my baby Unique, you know what I mean? Miss you, baby, love you. Definitely shout out to Messy Jessie, always holding me down, you know what I mean? Salute to you. You know, definitely shout out to everybody back home, New York City, Southside Jamaica, Queens, basic projects for sure. My second home, Dallas, shout out to everybody in Dallas, 88, I see you. My nigga Flame, my nigga Platinum. You know what I mean? Farag with a boss, you know, salute. You know what I mean? You know what it is, man. Just much love to everybody, man. You know what I mean? It's your man, Duffle Bag Tony. I'm gone.
Alright, and with that being said, y'all, we out. You know what I mean? Shout out to Duffle Bag Tony, free Duffle Bag Tony. You know, it's your girl, Messy Jessie. I'm up out of here. Angie Martinez is up next. This is Power 105.1, y'all. One.